Yo, ho, ho. Dom Mafia, welcome to yet another edition of the AFC East Roundtable. This is the first time it's been on my channel for quite some time. You know me, my name is Dan Mitchell. I am the #1 creator for the Austin Bills. So, I mean, here we are, baby. Listen, we're going into this. We're going into it hot. Now, listen, I'm about to show the room here. You're going to notice a few new faces because we had a couple of guys not be able to make it tonight. But you know what? Let's go on ahead and introduce everybody. We have, starting from the top, a gentleman that is representing the Miami Dolphins for today on the AFC East Roundtable, Mr. Dougley Durong. Doug, what's up?
What's up? Very, very happy to be here. I know you guys have been trying to get me on for a hot minute. Finally got the baby to sleep. Got some time to sit here, talk about the best division in football, AFC East.
Good. You know what? That is so like relieving not hearing that the Dolphins are going 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl, and like Tua is just going to go down as the best quarterback ever to play with his first pass in the preseason. I love it. It's a beautiful thing. Number 2, we have a new guy that's representing the Jets this evening because Richie is living it up in LA. My dude Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Oh, thank you guys for having me on. I've been watching you guys from afar. I've been creeping in the chat occasionally, and glad to finally get on with you guys. Talk some trash.
Dude, listen, like I love it. Last year when it came down, and so with Richie being on the roundtable, I would say like toward like the middle of the season, his energy completely just disappeared. I felt like that the poor kid was just sitting here like in the depression den. So, I mean, I'm happy that not only him, but you as well, you guys are actually going on ahead and you're definitely having that new sense of energy. And we're going to get down into that today for sure, 1,000%. Last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend, love him or hate him, it's Tyson, master at work.
Mostly hate, but you guys know who I am. I am also the new proud owner of the new subreddit, Austin Bills. I have took ownership of it. I woke up one night, I'm like, let me see if there's a subreddit for Austin Bills. I'm like, oh, there isn't. Let me go ahead and just take ownership. Let me just create this one. And I am the proud owner of Austin Bills. I am promoting to move the Bills to Austin.
Do it.
How many members are there so far?
Just me.
Well, listen, that's an investment.
I just created it like 2 days ago, but I'll try to promote it.
And so I'm talking about that, like you legitimately just bought some potentially valuable real estate. Let's put it that way.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
things might be good. Yeah, things might be good. Well, hey, everybody, once again, thank you for tuning in to yet another edition of the AFC East Roundtable. As you know, several of our teams actually ended up having their first fully padded practices recently. I know the Dolphins practiced today. I think the Jets practiced today, right, Ryan?
Yes, they did. Zach Wilson had himself a nice little day.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that. And then Tyson, did the Pats so practice today, or did they have a day off?
We practiced today. We practiced.
Okay, nice. So, I mean, I think the Bills are really like the only team that had the day off today after that first fully padded practice, which what I might say, and this is actually a great segue to start off, during these training camps, I'll tell you what, and like I'm not sure about y'all, but like I have so much anticipation. Like I'm so excited to see how my team plays out, but at the same time, I'm anxious as fuck because I'm terrified I'm going to be scrolling through Twitter and see an update that Schefter says like, yo, like with Trey White, he's going to be out for the season. Like that's like the #1 thing that I'm terrified about. So, all right. First off, I mean, I would absolutely love just to go around the table if there's been any like notable injuries that are concerning you at this point. And then if not, I would just love to hear like a little bit of an update of what's going on throughout the past couple of practices. We'll start off with my dude, Dougley Durong.
So no big injuries. There's the bang-ups here and there, you know, the pups and, you know, all that stuff. Nothing big, especially because it's the first week of training camp. A lot of the guys that are kind of sitting out are the vets. You know, Fuller, Parker, you know, they're kind of sitting out. When it comes to, you know, we had our first padded practice yesterday, and then we had a padded practice today. Yesterday's padded practice was absolutely horrendous for the offense. The defense was eating their lunch left and right. Dolphins could not run the ball if their life depended on it. The defensive line was getting in the backfield. The new addition, Bernardrick McKinney, that we got from the Texans, great linebacker, just destroying it. But today, completely different world. Tua lighting it up, throwing bombs, throwing passes left and right. Offense was moving up and down the field. Today was a good like uniform. You know how like in training camp you want that back and forth. You don't want one side to be blowing out the other and vice versa. That was today. Few like 1 or 2 interceptions, but then a lot of touchdowns, runs, a lot of stops, tackles, sacks. It was a good day today, but we saw a lot of great passes from Tua. So far, you know, it was nice yin and yang from yesterday to today. But like you said, I'm terrified. Well, the thing I'm most terrified is the Xavier Howard situation. Like, is he staying or is he going? Because like, not Brian Flores saying, "Oh, we're going in the right direction with the talks," and I'm like, well, then make it work, because without him, I'm nervous about who's opposite of Byron Jones, because when we played Buffalo week 2, he goes down second play, and all of a sudden Stephon Diggs was just torching Noah Igbenogany. So I'm very nervous about that. And then, like you said, I'm very nervous to scroll. I feel bad for the Colts. Carson Wentz, then Quentin Nelson. It's like,
and the Colts are cursed.
Happen to us.
And so I saw a meme today or whatever, or like I saw a TikTok or something along those lines that rumors are starting to fly that Nick Foles, and so is about to go to the Colts, and so to replace Wentz while he's out, and he's just like, not again. I can't get away from you, like type thing, which is absolutely insane. That poor franchise, they're cursed. Like honestly, I was afraid of the Colts.
It's the Deflategate curse.
It's the Deflategate.
No, I'm dead serious. Ever since Deflategate, that franchise, everything has been going wrong for them. Everything you can imagine.
And everything and anything. But I mean, you know, let's go ahead and knock on wood, because I mean, I definitely want, especially when it comes to bragging rights this year, like I don't want there to be any type of fallbacks, right? Like I don't want being like, oh, well, Xavier Howard got traded, man. That's why. Like, oh, this guy got hurt. Nah, fuck that. I want everyone at their best, and then I still want the Bills to win. So I mean, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm sitting at. Ryan, what's been going on in Jets camp? Have there been any injuries? And what's been the update for the past couple of practices since pads went on?
So the Jets have only had one padded practice, so I'm not overly, I guess, excited yet. I mean, I'm still like, I'm watching all the highlights, and Zach Wilson will bomb a ball to Elijah Moore, and the whole crowd goes bananas. And like, I love that. We've been lucky so far on the injury bug. We have a few guys riding the bicycle. Quinnen Williams is going to be out a few weeks from foot surgery. I believe he had back in June, I believe. But everyone should be ready to go for the regular season. That's really the biggest thing here. And watching these guys grow little by little. Like I said, I don't want to fall into the trap where Mark Sanchez having a great camp, Sam Darnold having a great camp, Zach Wilson having a great camp. I'm really excited for this kid, and it seems like he is way more dialed in than Sam ever was. Like, these deep throws that we're getting are not throws that we got to see out of Sam. So I'm hoping with the new energy with Salah, with the new offense, I mean, across the board, the Jets are going to have possibly 5 new starters from our rookie class. So I think there's a lot of youth, a lot of excitement here. Injury-wise, fingers crossed everything works out all right, because our offensive line for the first time in like 10 years actually looks like it's going to be probably like a top 15 line.
Interesting, Ryan. And so I want to show you something. And so did you know that your quarterback, right? And so your quarterback is not only famous for being a football player, but he just so also happened to be a very familiar face on a math book that a lot of us were familiar with in high school. Look at this. Common Core Math, Zach Wilson. Look at that guy.
Dude, someone photoshopped that same photo with him in like a 3rd grade class. Like the kids in the background. I was like, oh, I was in tears. This is one of the better ones I've seen.
And so is this real?
I mean, the picture is real. The math part, you know, this looks a little high grade. We might be talking 3rd grade. I don't know if he's had any acne or anything yet. Dude's face is perfect.
He looks like he's 12.
I don't know.
No, like somebody sent that to me, and I was just like, bro, like there's like no way. Like there's absolutely no way that man was on a Common Core Math textbook, like moving forward. Like wow. Okay. Now listen, honestly, like, I mean, like I like Zach Wilson. I think that he's going to have an absolute cannon, like moving forward. But like, I mean, like I would say if like there's anybody that I would like put like in a line of all NFL quarterbacks and I had to pick out the most granola QB, it would be Zach Wilson.
He's a 3-car garage kind of guy.
Yeah, dude, exactly. 1,010%. Tyson, what's been going on with the Pats, my friend? Are there any notable injuries?
Well, injury-wise, it's mostly just Stidham, which I'm happy because that means he's gone. I'm thinking he's going to get cut. He's on a 12-week injury, so even when the season, like, he's not going to be on the roster. They're not going to carry 4 quarterbacks. You know, Mac Jones, you know, he's been up and down. Today he really rebounded very good. Cam Newton threw a couple of picks. There was this thing going around. Josh McDaniels said that one thing that Mac Jones does very well is get yelled at, which is good because he can take criticism. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to be able to get, you know, yelled at. And he picks up things very fast. Like I said, the difference between Cam Newton and Mac Jones, other than he's a rookie, is the fact that he knows how to go through his reads. And Cam Newton's just stuck on one read, and it takes him too long to get to the second read. And Mac Jones is like, when the first read is covered, he's already on the third, fourth read, and that's what you need. And he's accurate. Like, he's accurate. Like, he's not going to be flashy like a Zach Wilson or Trey Lance, but he's exactly what the Patriot system is built for. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much what Tom Brady did for 2 decades. Like, you just need him to stand in the pocket, read defenses, and get the ball out quick, something that he does perfectly well. People say, oh, yeah, well, Belichick said that Cam Newton is our starting quarterback. Listen, Belichick he needs to say what he needs to say to satisfy the media. And he's saying that because Cam Newton, he doesn't want to shoot Cam Newton, you know what I'm saying, like, confidence-wise. But here's the thing, right? I'm happy that we have preseason because preseason is going to show us who should be starting quarterback in the story. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care what they go out there and do in pads or you know what I'm saying, no pads or whatever. Who's throwing passes, touchdown pass. It's all about how do you look against another football team when it counts. You know what I mean? I know preseason doesn't count, but you're still going against other players that are fighting for their jobs. And Mac Jones, if he wants to win the starting quarterback job, I already said he has to prove it. No one's going to give him anything. I understand that he's the future and everything. And but listen, if Belichick knows, like, he's under an immense amount of pressure this season because of Brady winning a Super Bowl last season and what happened last season to us. And with everyone coming back and spending over $100 million in free agency, he's on the clock to win. He has to win. There's no excuses here. Like, you don't have COVID, you don't have injuries, excuses, or opt-outs or anything like that. You even got your quarterback now that you chose in the draft. Like, there's no excuses. So I think they're going to evaluate the quarterback based on the preseason performance. And in my prediction, the way I've seen Cam, even in camp, I think he's going to stink it up in preseason. I really do. And when that happens, well, we got 3 preseason games. If he can't, by the third preseason game, get it right, and he looks the same way he did last season, and he has an injury history too now. Last time he got knocked out due to injury was in a preseason game against the Patriots. So if something like that happens, or like I said, he doesn't look like he just looks old, and even the players around him are saying that, behind the scenes are saying, this Mac Jones guy's pretty damn good. And there was a play that Cam Newton, he threw a pick, I think it was a couple of days ago. And I think it was, I can't remember exactly. It was one of the coaching staff. I don't know if it was McDaniels, but one of the coaching staff just looked at Belichick like, are we really going with that to start the season? And then this is what people were observing from the benches. And then Mac Jones throws a freaking dime on the sideline to N'Keal Harry. And then the coach looks back at Belichick, is like, you sure you want to start Cam? And you were there reading lists. I'm like, and Belichick's shaking his head. And listen, Belichick's not going to risk, like I know he has a lot of he thinks he owes Cam something. But at the end of the day, his legacy is on the line this season. I don't think people understand that. Like, he's not going to go out there with Cam Newton if Cam Newton is turning the ball over. And even if Cam Newton starts the season, he sure as hell isn't going to make it halfway through the season if we're not winning football games. The problem I have is, if you look at our schedule, it's a pretty weak ass schedule from like the first half of the season. Like, we can easily, you go through our schedule, a lot of winnable games. We could easily go 9-1. And if Cam Newton's not playing great, but we're still winning games, like, do they make a change? I don't know. But as far as the other players go, besides the quarterback battle, Matthew Judon looks great. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith look great. Like I said, we don't really have any injuries. There isn't really much breaking news coming out of the Patriots training camp besides the quarterback battle. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And is Hoyer still on your roster?
Huh?
And so is Hoyer?
Yeah. So Hoyer's still on the roster. I think he's just there for veteran leadership, most likely.
Okay.
And plus, Stidham just got hurt. So
yeah.
Listen, there's no way in hell if for some reason Cam Newton gets hurt before the season, there's no way in hell there's going to be like, oh, dude, we start Brian Hoyer. That's not happening. No, there would be riots if that happened. Bro, like if you see what he looked like last season when he came in for Cam, it was god awful. Like you remember the Kansas City game where he was like he couldn't even keep track of the clock. Like we were in that football game if it wasn't for Brian Hoyer throwing a pick right before half instead of kicking a field goal, and he did it twice. Brian Hoyer is not going to. I don't think Brian Hoyer. Actually, I think they probably keep Stidham on the roster, and they keep Cam and Mac, and Hoyer probably goes to the practice squad or gets cut.
Interesting. Very interesting. A true journeyman of the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as the Buffalo Bills are concerned, luckily, like the rest of our colleagues in the AFC East, we've managed to come out unscathed so far. Granted, we've only had one padded practice under our belts at this point. Right now, I believe with Deion Dawkins and then Ike Bodiger are still on the COVID list at this point. I think that they're set to start practice again tomorrow. They have Jerry Hughes with a calf strain. It's more so of like a non-injury report, and he should be back in a couple of days as well. But for the most part, besides like some random bang-ups, no serious injuries so far. Let's go on ahead and knock on wood from that perspective. Now, as far as practice has been concerned, it seems like a lot of the highlights and a lot of the rooms that a lot of people are praising have been switching from day to day. About 2 days ago, the practice before padded practice, apparently Josh Allen was absolutely lighting the defense up. I mean, definitely gaining chemistry with Emmanuel Sanders, which you definitely want to see, because we ended up letting John Brown go, and then Emmanuel Sanders is going to essentially be his replacement. So you're definitely happy that you're starting to see that chemistry start to build by itself. Stephon Diggs, once again, I mean, honestly, there's no surprise there that he's doing well. Same with Cole Beasley. Overall, the offense is looking absolutely electric. However, the first padded practice, it was completely the opposite, where our defense was absolutely destroying our offense. And what you absolutely love to see is we all know that we ended up taking the first round and second round pick on the defensive end side of the ball because one of our biggest weaknesses was pass rush last year. In my opinion, the number one reason why we lost the AFC Championship, because we just could not put pressure on Pat Mahomes, something that the Buccaneers were easily able to do during the Super Bowl. However, our first two picks with Basham and then with Rousseau, they were beating experienced offensive linemen that we have on our team during that practice. We had Basham. He ended up actually batting down a couple of passes. This is like the second or third, which led to an interception as well. And then we had Russo beating out Darrell Williams, who in my opinion is the best offensive lineman on our damn team. So that is something that you definitely want to see. The reporting that they notice a huge difference in size and length on this defensive line. And we're really hoping that this is our answer for the thing that we've been looking for the longest time is a pass rush. So we'll definitely go ahead and keep that up. And let's just go ahead and cross our fingers that there are zero injuries so we can go into the season healthy and get ready to make it happen. So next segment, boys. Okay. And yes, Jaboy came prepared, surprisingly. Okay. So I ended up pulling out individual storylines from each and every single team that I thought were interesting. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Starting off with Doug. Okay, so there have been reports that the Miami Dolphins have been shifting their offensive line a lot. It is a carousel. They're experimenting with a bunch of different combinations in training camp. How do you see that going into the season? Do you see your offensive line continuing to sort of be the carousel, mixing and matching all the way into midseason? And if so, how do you think that plays into Tua's development into year two?
Yeah, they're definitely mixing and matching. They're trying to find like the best five that they can get. Some pieces aren't moving. Like Austin Jackson is the left tackle. He hasn't moved from there. And Hunt is the right guard. He hasn't moved from there. But the second round pick, Liam Eichenberg, who I thought was going to be the right tackle, is actually playing at left guard. Dieter is the starting center when I thought it was going to be Matt Skura. Matt Skura actually, for some time, has been running with the threes, which good thing they're only paying him about $1 million for this year, because I'm not hearing great things about him. And they have Jesse Davis at right tackle. With DJ Fluker getting released because of injury, they did an injury settlement on him. That kind of hurt, because I saw him as depth and potentially competing for those positions. But the offensive line is the only part of this entire team that scares the crap out of me, because I don't know what it's going to be like. It wasn't great last year. Austin Jackson was ranked, I think it was 70 out of 77 tackles. Like, he was bad. Same thing with Robert Hunt. Same thing with Solomon McKinley. They were low. Yes, they were rookies, but the offensive line wasn't great last year. So that's the part of this team that worries me the most. Like, Tua's play, it's going to predicate, like you said, on what the offensive line does. Because like, if people want him to throw the ball deep, he needs more than 2 seconds to throw the ball deep, because plays won't develop. So I think what's going to happen is you'll see probably maybe after the second preseason game, they'll probably solidify a front five that they're going to run with. And I hope and pray to God that we get some type of running game, because without a running game, your offense isn't going anywhere. And if they keep doing this mishmash and moving pieces around going into the middle of the season, it will affect Tua's play. Now, because you saw what happened with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He's a great quarterback, but he had a horrible offensive line in front of him. He's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Doesn't matter how good of a quarterback it is if you don't have something in front of you to at least hold it for like 3 seconds. Have a run game, you're going to struggle. So I'm hoping they find something. I hope they get some type of unity and they gel. So going into the season, because the first 2 games, Dolphins are getting deja vu of last year. We're going to New England, home for Buffalo. So you can't go 0-2 in the first 2 games. So they need to find something. So I'm hoping they find some type of gel with that front five.
So that's
to a scapegoat, right? The offensive line.
That would, if the offensive line sucks again, then that's what you're going to hear from certain fans saying,
No, I already know. I'm in all the forums backstage, and I already know that's going to be the excuse. The offensive line for Tua turns the ball over.
And it's fun. Well, because Tannehill, 7 years, he's with the Dolphins, goes to Tennessee, has 2 fantastic seasons. And the thing is, he had a horrible, besides 2016, he had a horrible offensive line in front of him for most of his time in Miami. So it's like, that's going to be the shining light that a lot of people who like Tua are going to say, this is why he struggled, is because the offensive line. And then the people who hate Tua, and there is a certain section of the Miami Dolphin fan base who hates the kid, which I don't get it, will say, like you said, there's your excuse. I thought no excuses this year. So it's going to be interesting. But
is there a reason why Miami just can't get the offensive line corrected?
I honestly,
but you guys had Larry Tunsil.
Yeah, and see that move. I get that move. As much as I hated that move, I get that move, because they took a left tackle and turned it into 5 first-round picks. So it's like, I get it, but you're gambling with first-round picks. You had your stud left tackle. I think they just didn't want to pay him the $20+ million a year, so they were like, let's get some firsts for him. And see.
Did y'all offer any money to some of the free agents like Tooney or like what Kansas City did?
And that's what
did y'all going into that?
Going into the offseason, this past offseason, and even this offseason, I wanted that center from Green Bay. I wanted Lindsley so bad. I thought he would just solidify, and then he goes to San Diego, and the Dolphins just they threw money at different positions. Like last year, they gave Kyle Van Noy $15 million. They gave Byron Jones another $15 a year, but then Thuney's gone, and then this one's gone, and I'm like, I'm a trenches guy. I play defensive end. Like, I know what the trenches can do. You win through the trenches. You could have a mediocre wide receiver core, quarterback, secondary. If you're getting sacks and you're pushing those guys back, you'll win games.
Bro, look at Mahomes last in the Super Bowl. Like, that should tell you everything you need to know. As great as people think Mahomes is, I don't care how great he is. If you don't have an offensive line that can at least give you 3, 4, 5 seconds in the pocket. I don't care how mobile you are. You're not. I don't care if you're the greatest quarterback. Even Brady without an offense, like we've seen in Super Bowl 42. You took away his left tackle, and then you got O.C. Urmir and Strahan just beating the crap out of you all game, and you ended up losing a perfect season because your left tackle's not there. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how great of a quarterback you are. If you don't got an offensive line, you're not going to succeed. And the fact that you guys are going in this season with a second-year quarterback who has everything to prove, which is probably a make-it-break year, being that Deshaun Watson's going to be on the table for next season, you're not doing him any favors if you're not even providing him an offensive line to try to at least give him some pocket presence, or at least 3-4 seconds in a pocket where he doesn't have to keep on running for his life. I mean, I think that's unfair to Tua. As much as I think he's not a really good quarterback, you still got to give him a chance to develop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's funny because you ask, like, why aren't they? You see it. It's like their decision making, right? They think, okay, let's give him the weapons because we think that these guys are going to become something good. They take Waddle at 6 instead of taking Penei Sewell. It's like,
which they should have. That was a miss.
Yeah, that makes no sense. That draft pick just.
No, don't get me wrong.
You can get receivers in free agency, and you can get receivers later in the rounds. Like, we want to get to a weapon. Well, what good is a weapon when you don't got a fortress, so he can get the ball to that weapon? It makes absolutely no sense.
Like, don't get me wrong. Waddle's absolutely killing it in camp. Like, he is who he was advertised to be. But if you can't get the ball to him, it don't matter who he is. You know, I'm 100% with you on that one. They needed to look at 2016. They called it the unicorn offensive line. Jay Ajayi rushes for over 1,000 yards. We go to the playoffs. We clinched the playoffs before week 17 for the first time in I don't know how long. Like, it is important to get the trenches right. So I'm hoping somehow they had some plan and this does work out, and then all of a sudden we have a running game, because if not, it's gonna be a long season. That's
another thing. Like, I looked at your roster. You guys don't really have much. Like, why aren't you guys getting a veteran running back? I mean, you guys had or you guys could have got, what's his name? What's the old dude from the Jets last season?
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore,
bro. Like, get a veteran running back in there. You know what I mean?
Get Gore, baby.
Supposedly, we're going to trade up with the Vikings to get in front of the Steelers to take Najee Harris. But the Vikings wanted their 36, and like they're both their seconds. So they said, screw that, we'll sit at 36. And then we're sitting there, and there goes Javonte Williams. And I'm like, Dolphins are going to get him. And the freaking Denver Broncos strayed right in front of Miami and take Javonte. Supposedly the Dolphins wanted Javonte Williams. And then once he went, they took Javon Holland. So me as a Dolphin fan, I sit back and I'm always like, oh, we're going to get a running back. And then they're like, no, we're not going to get a running back. So I'm like, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, like, I also feel like Brian Flores is pretty fiscally conservative as well. Like, I mean, like, so many. And, like, I mean, like, this isn't a bad thing either. That's how you build a franchise, by not going out and just dropping a shit ton of money and being like, yo, like, I want to win right now when there's clearly a bunch of holes that need to be filled before you have that mentality. That's why, like, I've noticed a lot of Dolphins fans, and specifically TD, right? Like, I mean, like, he's been on the train. He's been like, oh, dude, the Dolphins are still going to go after Watson, bro. I promise you that's going to happen. That's not in Flores' DNA. No. He's not giving up 3 first-round picks for that. There's no way in fucking hell that that's going to happen.
And it's a perfect, and I always said this about Tua. Some people on my channel call me a Tua-neer, which I don't understand, because, yeah, I love the kid. I want him to be successful. I think he'll be successful, not only because I am a Dolphins fan, but the Dolphins set themselves up perfectly that if Tua falls flat on his face this year, they have 2 first-round picks in 2023 to get the quarterback they want. So this is like Tyson said, this is the season. This is unfortunately, because when have you heard a rookie his second year have to show it or he's gone? But this is the season where he has to show a huge improvement, or the organization is probably either going to go for Deshaun Watson or they're going to trade to try to get a quarterback.
Or you guys can sign Aaron Rodgers in free agency.
Oh my God.
They might. It would be such a Dolphin thing to do, to overpay for, and he's not an aging vet, but he's towards the ass end of his career. That would be such a Dolphin thing to do that.
So Tua will be Ryan Leaf and Justin Herbert will be Peyton Manning.
Pretty much.
That is rough. All right. Listen, as exhilarating as that Dolphins talk was, I want to move on to the Jets. Ryan, my guy. Okay, so I have this going on, and since this is your first time on here, I sort of wanted to hear your overall thought process. There's no question, right? Like the Jets, I would say, are an entire different team than what they were last year under the Gase era. Okay, now with this change in regime, right now. So now that Salah's taken over, there's basically an entire new coaching staff, a couple of new pieces, very young team. I would probably even say youngest team in the NFL. No, like I would say like right in the division, at least at this point, as far as like starters are concerned. Realistically for you, when would you say the Jets rebuild will be complete? A time frame, year, and what are your expectations and what moves need to be made in order for that to do so?
So it's tough because right now there's a lot of hope. Like the offensive line looks like it's been addressed over the course of the last 2 seasons. Getting Mekhi Becton last year, McGovern last year. Now you get Elijah Vera Tucker, you trade up for him. He's arguably like a 10-year plug-in starter at left guard. From what we're hearing, the offensive line on the left side is just ripping guys apart. And that's with like some really rock-solid defensive linemen in camp too. So I'm looking forward to the offensive line. The defense is going to take some time. The whole point of this season for us is Zach Wilson going to be the guy? Did we surround him with enough talent? Did we give him enough time in the pocket? And I think if you can start to see that happen, then if we get those what ifs out of the way, if we say, okay, we have a tight end in, maybe it's Croft, maybe it's, Herndon, which people have been kind of sour on him. It feels like that's a position of need still. I think you could be looking at an entire defensive rebuild next year. We still need cornerback help. We still need a pass rusher opposite Lawson. We have Vinny Curry that we brought in this year, who I'm pretty excited about as a situational pass rusher, but I think there's still some time. CJ Mosley has missed basically 2 years worth of football, so we don't know what we're getting out of him.
Ooh.
The first free agent we got was Jared Davis from Detroit, the linebacker, and that's just, I don't want to say he's a no-name, but he's definitely like, it was out of left field for me. That's not where I thought we were going to be going with that. So our linebacking core is definitely weak. I could see the Jets passing a lot. Like I could see Zach Wilson breaking our franchise passing record for a season year one because it's just so bad. It's literally Joe Namath with 14 games, like just over 4,000 yards. So like I could see that happening. But I think from an actual rebuild, I think we're going to go into next season. We're going to need a corner. We're going to need an edge rusher. We got 2 first-round picks to do it. We got 2 second-round picks as well. So we have some ammo to get that done. I would say, depending on how we finish this season, if the Jets are on the upswing, weeks 15, 16, 17, 18, then I think you'll see the free agent push that the Jets get some of those more important areas of need. You bring in some young guys as well. I don't know if next year is when we can really start to compete or if it's 2 years from now, but I think it's going to be while Zach Wilson is on his rookie contract. And I think it's going to be within the next 2 years.
Okay. And so I found it interesting that you said that you're gambling that he might break the Jets passing record in year one. Now, normally, like when it comes down into developing a quarterback, especially when you're just throwing him into the fucking Wolves first game, like kid was like with BYU, there really wasn't a lot of competition with a lot of the teams that he was playing. A lot of franchises, they like sort of slowly mixing it in by letting the kid rely on the running game, which I know that this year is probably going to be more so of a running back by committee. So do you not see that happening? And so do you see them just like thrown out there and being a pass first offense immediately with a rookie?
No, I think they're definitely going to be run first. They're going to try and probably have Michael Carter be the lead back. And then you'll see P. Ryan and Tevin Coleman kind of come in as well. I do think it's going to be a running back by committee, but I think they rebuilt that offensive line, and Becton's strength is run blocking. Elijah Vera Tucker's strength is run blocking. Morgan Moses on the right-hand side, run blocking as well. So I think while we are set up to have a good passing game, I think we would need something like, I don't know if it's 230 yards a game in the air, but that's what Zach Wilson would have to do to break our passing record if he were to play all 17 games. So I think that's more so where I see that happening. And with the Jets having possibly a bad defense, like not good secondary pieces, going to be high scoring games, I think we're going to be forced to throw the ball because we're going to be behind more. Like I see the Jets as anywhere from a 7-10 to a 9-8 team. Like a 9-8 would be like a really optimistic, things kind of broke the right way. Maybe we capture a win against the Bills, resting starters in like the last week of the season or something like that to get to that 9-8 ceiling. But I do think they're going to be run first. I think they're going to rely heavily on the play action pass. And I think you're going to see a lot of screens and near the line of scrimmage type stuff until Zach Wilson can kind of prove that he can put more on his shoulders.
Got it. Who else is in your QB room? It's always for you.
Not much. We just signed Josh Johnson.
I saw my man.
Solid stud.
Yeah.
No, we got Mike White and James Morgan. So literally,
got it. So like, there's no world where Zach Wilson is not taking the first snap of week 1.
Oh yeah, zero shot. It's going to be Zach Wilson. If Zach Wilson, somehow goes down with an injury, we are just going to lean heavily on our running backs. There is no way we are like gambling on like a backup. We're not going to trade for like a
And so someone just put. And so when you said Johnson, he goes the pitcher.
Oh yeah, from Miami.
The pitcher, bro.
Randy Johnson. Yeah, no, Randy Johnson's coming in. You got.
I'll give you Cam for free. It was up to me.
Dude, I don't want Scam Newton. You were saying that Mac Jones is up and down. Was he getting up and down off the couch?
Okay.
Now he's playing for Kraft, and you guys don't even own mac and cheese, but he literally is mac and cheese.
Hey, listen, I was thinking about a nickname for Mac Jones. Mac and cheese is corny.
Oh, it's
what I'm saying?
True,
the Mac Daddy's been taken.
Kraft.
Machiavelli.
Yo, listen. And so somebody with a dad bod, bro, like I appreciate Mac Jones' dad bod, bro. Honestly, man.
He's like,
and Doug knows what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, man. Like I mean, like
I could be a professional quarterback.
Don't get him in the locker room. Don't take any pictures of that man in the locker room.
Yo, dude.
He looks like Adam Butler from friggin' Star Wars.
Mac Jones is the quarterback that you see get up, and the guy at the bar's like, "Oh, I could do that," and then they throw Mac Jones out there. Like, oh yeah, I'll show you how to throw 400
yards against Baltimore.
Oh, dude, holy shit.
We don't need him to be the cover of GQ. We just need him to win. Brady looked like. Listen, you see how Brady looked when he first came to the league.
He was from Entourage.
Oh my God. All right. So Tyson, all right. So I have a question for you. So last year, all of our teams experienced like opt-outs, but most notably, your team was probably the most amount of opt-outs across the entire NFL. You're seeing a lot of those players return, specifically Hightower, et cetera, and like some other pieces in your defense, which is good. What's your concern level that they lost a step with taking an entire year off of football? And do you still see players like Hightower and the others coming back and still being as efficient as they were in 2019?
I don't know, because like I said, I think Hightower's dealt with a couple of injuries in his career too. So I think he kind of used the COVID excuse because he had a daughter, a new daughter, and I think he just like saw Cam Newton and it was like, I'm not, man, get out of here with that. I'll be back the next year. I think a lot of players felt like that. Once Brady left, they were like, okay, what are we doing here? There's no fans in the stands. Like, am I going to risk my body out there for, you know what I mean? Yeah. This year, obviously, they can't do it again because, like I said, you don't got that type of opt out for COVID. But do I think they're going to lose a step? I don't think so, honestly. I think it's good because now they're coming back fresh. They don't have any lingering injuries. Gronk came back. He left, 2 years out of football, and he came back and looked pretty damn good. Honestly, I think sometimes football players probably need like a year break, even though last year just was convenient for it to happen. You know what I mean? People just don't, I'm going to take a break and then come back. You know what I mean? Like, I would reckon to think if Andrew Luck came back, I think he would be fresh. Oh, yeah. I really do. I don't think that's going to affect us, honestly. Gilmore still hasn't shown up to camp, and that's because of his contract. Gilmore, I'm not worried about Gilmore. He knows damn well he's going to be. And I think another reason why Gilmore's is not coming out is because he doesn't want to risk like a freak injury happen, and he knows that, you know what I'm saying, like his contract is on the line next season when he's a unrestricted free agent. I'm not worried about Gilmore will be back, but McCourty, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really worried about the opt-outs, like losing a step or anything.
Got it. And so I was actually about to ask you about Gilmore because I saw that I think he might have finally showed up Is like he's still pissed? Did Belichick like end up like sort of biting the bullet and just like sort of restructuring his contract?
I don't know.
No?
I don't think he's. I mean, he wants a new contract. He wants us to give him a new contract. And if one thing that I realize is when Revis, we had a situation like that with Revis, and we signed him on a 1-year deal, and then you know what I'm saying, like he looked great that year. He won a Super Bowl with us and everything. I know Jets fans feel some type of way that they gave him I don't know how many million to just. Just absolutely
retire in New York.
Fat. And I'm like, I don't know how much money y'all paid him, but like that must really suck, man, to like have a legendary player for all of these years, go to your arch rival, win a Super Bowl in his first year, and be like, okay, well, we gotta do something to make the fan base happy again. Let's throw all this money at a fat, broke down Revis. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, so I don't know, bro, but I kind of look at it as the Revis situation. Me personally, I'm not giving Gilmore a new contract. I'm not. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think the reason why I wouldn't give him the contract was, let's say we give him a contract, right? How do we know that his skills aren't going to decline this year? Or not only that, another reason why is if we don't give Gilmore a contract and he plays, he has to play. Like he has to be on his best behavior and impress the next team that's going to want to throw money at him next season. So he's on a prove it deal now. You know what I mean? Now, he's not going to go out there and stink up the joint or get hurt or miss games because he knows this is his last season of this contract. And if he somehow doesn't look the same way as we all know Gilmore has been looking like, then the next thing is like, okay, well, you sucked the last year. You're an aging cornerback. We're in a position where where we can get somebody else younger than you or like a J.C. Jackson. We're not going to throw all this money at you. So he's going to play his best when he's on his last year of his contract. And he's looking for that one fat last contract like Revis got with the Jets. So I'm not worried about Gilmore.
And well, he's getting up there in age too. So I mean, like I probably wouldn't give him any like more than like.
It's funny how we took one of the two best cornerbacks of the past decade, each from this division rivals, and made them Super Bowl champions. But I mean, that's what you do when you're the Patriots. You just make, water out of wine.
And so I feel like the only team that would give him an absurd amount of money for like multiple like year deals would probably be Gruden in Las Vegas. I feel like he would be the only person on the face of the planet that would be an idiot and just overpay somebody that's in the twilight of their. That's because
he's going to be wanted to be the highest paid corner. You know what I'm saying? He's going to want money that Xavier Howard should be getting. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude.
Which is funny because, listen, I already said it last week. I'll trade you Gilmore for Xavier Howard. I'll take those last 3 years of that contract. We'll restructure it in a way where we can just backload it for a couple years, and you can have a last year Stephon Gilmore contract, and we'll get a younger, more elite, in my opinion, right now, Xavier Howard. You know what I mean? I'll take that trade any day of the week.
But you got to hope that he stays healthy. 5 years, only 2 full seasons. So that's why the Dolphins.
I know he does have kind of an injury problem. I do realize that, but it would be just nice to have 3 elite cornerbacks from all rivals all win a Super Bowl with the Patriots.
It would be such a Dolphin thing too. He would go there and win a ring, and then he'd probably retire.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
and just one more plaque for Tyson to hang. Yeah, we don't need that. All right. Anyway, all right. So my storyline, in fact, I think this is probably the one that's been dominating the headlines, and I might as well address it. I've addressed it already. Okay. So, as many of you know, the Buffalo Bills are in a massive dispute over a new stadium. Right? They want $1.5 billion funded by the taxpayers of Western New York. That was the first storyline that dropped. And 20 minutes later, it turned out that the Pagulas ended up saying, oh, yeah, well, by the way, there's cities like Austin and San Antonio that would definitely buy us a new stadium. So now the entire world of Western New York is freaking out. The rest of the NFL has been trolling me a lot, calling it the Austin Bills. And my buddy Tyson now owns the very first Reddit page, Austin Bills.
Yes. So how I'm going to do it? If some reason it happens, I'm gonna be the owner, and then everyone's gonna flock to the subreddit. All the Bills fans are gonna flock there, and then I'm gonna pull a plug. I'm gonna delete the subreddit.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Well, luckily I do have an update, which is always a good thing. So with Erie County, they just ended up making a statement saying that the Buffalo Bills we're not leaving regardless of how the deal went. Now, is the NFL going to be about that? Because we know that the NFL has been breathing down our neck to at least update our stadium or make a new one. We really, really don't know. But really, at the end of the day, as Bills fans, I feel like this probably arises every 4 or 5 years. For the longest time, so many people were saying that we were going to go to Toronto. That didn't end up happening. And then when it ended up coming down to the final bidding, when it was between John Bon Jovi and the Pagulas, and I think Trump was in there as well. I think
Trump. Oh yeah, you're responsible for the Kardashians. You're responsible for Donald Trump.
Oh my God! All right, but anyway, so how that ended up turning out was that with the Pagulas buying this team is probably the best thing for this city. Number one, because we know that the Bills would never leave. Number one, his wife is from Buffalo, from the area. They own the Sabres, right within downtown. And what a lot of people don't realize as well from a business and from that standpoint, that family is so invested in the city, not only outside of the sports, like they own so many different businesses. They own like these huge sporting complexes. They own a shit ton of land. If they were to move the team out of Buffalo and separate up their investments, it just wouldn't make sense from a business standpoint. When you want taxpayers to fund the stadium, and especially when you're negotiating with a government, you need some type of leverage. And if you don't have any leverage, the government's going to laugh in your fucking face. They're going to be like, yeah, all right, dude, why don't you go ahead and pony this up? So as far as fans using their tax money to go on ahead and fund the stadium, I really don't know how I feel about that because, number one, as all you know, I live right in South Carolina. So it wouldn't be my tax dollars going for it. So I can't speak on that. But if the Bills were to do it, just know that we would not be the first team to do it. In fact, the Dallas Cowboys, I'm pretty sure, is about 25% with tax funded, and the Green Bay Packers are 100% funded by taxpayer dollars. That's just how it works out, guys. Like, I mean, like when you have a small market team like that, you don't have a lot of capital running in. The Buffalo Bills and the Sabres are huge money makers for the economy of the city. If Erie were to let the Buffalo Bills leave, in my opinion, I think the city would suffer tremendously economically. Hence why I am convinced that the Buffalo Bills are going to be staying in Buffalo. If not, then I'll move to Austin. It's a fucking great city.
Let me be devil's advocate for a second.
Go ahead.
Stan Kroenke from St. Louis moved the Rams back to L.A. Art Modell from Cleveland, Ohio, moved the Browns to Baltimore. Also invested in the city. Well, they call him Benedict Arnold for a reason. This has happened before. Not only that,
if I'm wrong, but New York State.
I listen. I used to live in Buffalo, New York, so I know a lot of people around the area, and I've talked to them. They hate the Pagulas. They completely destroyed the Sabres. I don't care what nobody says. The success for the Bills last season had nothing to do with the Pagulas. It had everything to do with the right GM and the right coach in place, Brian Daboll, drafting Josh Allen. So I can't really say, like, since when have they owned the Bills? Like, what year did they buy them?
2014.
Okay, so I thought it was a little bit earlier than that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they haven't really done much. I mean, yeah, like I said, they have a lot of ties within the community, but them being from the area doesn't have anything to do with, like, let's say, for instance, right, because I've been to the stadium, right? It used to be New Era Stadium. What's it called now?
Now it's Highmark. It's Highmark.
Whatever. Yeah. Listen, I've been to a ton of NFL stadiums. Dan, you can agree with me, man. That stadium's a dump. It's a college football stadium. You guys need a new stadium.
We do.
You have to. Like, you can't go into. I mean, you guys have to upgrade. Like, I heard they were going to put it next to the lake in the city. Somebody told me today that you guys were going to renovate it. Is that even possible? Can you guys even renovate that stadium?
No. Like, I mean, like,
no, it's not possible. I've been there.
No, you know who does those flipper shows? Aren't they in Austin, Texas?
Chad
and Joanna Gaines.
And so, could you imagine like a bus just moving from the stadium or some shit like that? Look at your
Colts. The Colts when the Baltimore Colts moved, they moved in the middle of the night because they knew there was going to be a riot. Yeah. And this is why I don't think the Bills are going to move for this very instant. If something like this ever would have happened,
the city of Buffalo.
Listen, I know Bills fans in Buffalo. They listen. They that's not going to happen. They're not going to allow it. The city would literally burn. They would burn it to the ground.
So many tables.
That's why, yeah, you guys are going to stay in Buffalo. But I think it's a really shitty tactic for the Pagulas to use and to threaten as a negotiating tactic. Like, you're literally telling your fan base, like, you don't give us a new stadium, taxpayer funded by Western New Yorkers, hardworking people. This, you know what I mean? Like hardworking people. Like, let's just be honest, blue collar people to pay for an entire $1 billion stadium when you yourself are a billionaire, to ask low income people, hardworking people to fund that stadium. I don't care how big of a Bills fan you are. You know, we're going through an economic crisis. Like, you can't ask your own fan base to pay that bill. Why don't you just pay the bill? You got the money to do it. That's my problem with Pagula. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, pay your own damn stadium if you want it so bad. Like, the Raiders moved from Oakland to LA because of it. Then they moved back to Oakland. Then they moved to Las Vegas because of this very reason. The Oakland Athletics are also gone because they don't want to give them a new baseball stadium. So this has been happening for a few years now. The Bills need a new stadium. They have they got to get one.
Look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins they wanted to renovate the stadium, put a canopy on top of it. Ross tried to get the city to fund it. The city said, "Go screw yourself." Ross said, "All right, I'll pay for it myself." And he paid for it himself. And now look at the stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. So
so you guys renovated
nice.
it.
Yeah. And so Hard Rock is nice. I will give it that. Well, right now they're talking about that they are going to build it in Orchard Park, probably in the exact same vicinity. I've heard, and I mean, listen, this is not factual, everybody, so don't go around like spreading this rumor because I don't know for sure. But they're thinking about putting it in that parking lot where the Hammer Lot is, right across the street, like a brand new stadium right there. Those are the plans. And regardless, one other thing too that I do want to leave this off on, there is no way in hell that Jerry Jones is going to allow another team in the state of Texas. There is no way that
is true.
That man will lobby to until he dies.
The thing is, when he's dying, he's getting up there in age now. They might be, you know what I mean? I don't know how Stephen Jones is. I don't know how his negotiate. Like Stephen Jones, like Jerry Jones is like Steinbrenner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, look at
Josh Allen come out and say, "I'm not signing a contract extension unless the Bills."
Oh, Josh Allen! You guys build a statue right in there, huh? That's how gullible you guys are.
Oh man, holy shit, man! I would love that. All right, guys, we are going up on the hour mark, and now what I think we got to do. Great conversation, by the way. We should definitely do this again. What I want to do is just go around the table, let everyone know where they can find you, and then what you got going on for your channels this season, because it's about to go down, boys. Douglas Durong, what's good?
You can find me anywhere and anywhere with the name. You just type in Douglas Durong. It's a very weird, unique name. You want to find me on Twitter, YouTube, wherever. Douglas Durong, breaking down every camp. Got the first preseason game on the 14th. I'll be at the Jet Life Takeover, so it's going to be fun. Going to be down in Miami too, and I'm going to have these guys on collab. I'm going to have Tyson and Dan on week 1, week 2. It's going to be very, very interesting. But yeah, check me out, youtube.com/Douglas Durong.
I love to hear it. Ryan, what you got, brother?
All right, so you can find me over pornhub.com/monster.
Well, sorry. There goes my monetization, bro. Thanks.
Jets Talk 24/7. I rant about the Jets. Not always sponsor friendly, depending on the rant that I'm going on. But it's a lot of fun. I do live streams every Tuesday with a few other Jet guys, and then I'd usually do my Monday call-in show. So if you want to talk some smack, I'm all about it.
Tyson, what you got, bud?
Same thing, man. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into the football swing of things. I'm gonna do more live streams this season. NFL Meme Time's coming back. I can't wait to start doing that again. And I'm gonna be slandering the hell out of Miami this season. Miami and Kansas City are my 2 targets this season. Well, mostly every season, but this season I'm definitely going to you know how you do Dolphins recaps. I'm definitely going to be doing Dolphins recaps too. So.
And so just like a pure like troll job and stuff like that. Like,
I might go ahead and start buying or start purchasing or try to get some Austin Bills merchandise
and start selling it.
Moving that along.
And
I'm giving you permission to clip some of my videos if you want. I'm gonna give you that permission right away.
Oh, I was gonna do it with or without your permission. I was gonna do it. I mean, TD and Finsanity got the brunt of it last season. I mean, but you're just such a nice guy, bro. Like I can't even. I mean, we'll see what happens. If you say anything crazy, I'll definitely use it. But you know.
Oh my God, I absolutely love to hear it. Yeah, guys, as always, you can find me on this channel specifically or at Real Dan Mitchell on virtually every single platform. The season's coming up, so I mean, videos are going to start ramping up. Definitely bringing back my live game reactions, which are always a good time. I'm typically 3 sheets to the wind by the third quarter each and every single time, and you guys seem to enjoy that. It's coming back, baby. That's coming back. And I even lowered my tolerance a little bit for you guys as well. I've been chilling out, but hey, you know what? It's all about the entertainment, baby. Okay. Don Mafia, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the AFC East Roundtable. Next week is going to be on TD's channel. You're not going to want to miss it. And before I let you go, everyone know, let's go Buffalo.